The Renegade marks a radical departure for Jeep, being the first one ever built outside of the USA in the same Italian factory as the Fiat 500X. But you'd be hard pressed to tell this car and the Fiat have so much in common because of its old school looks with a far more upright stance and of course the iconic Jeep grille and round headlamps. Inside there are surprisingly few similarities too, although you may recognise this infotainment system. Just like in the Fiat, it's okay and there are plenty of ways to connect your music, but the maps can get quite laggy if you start trying to browse through them, and some of the menus are quite confusing. More impressive is the large TFT display between the gauges fitted in some of the higher trim levels, and this gives you lots of information, even telling us how hot the automatic transmission is getting, which we've never seen in any car before. Like the exterior, the interior dash is very upright, and with features like this chunky grab handle, this is one crossover that feels more like a traditional 4x4 than any other we can think of. Dotted all around the cabin there are lots of Jeep motifs, like the grille found up here and on the speaker grills, even a little Willys Jeep actually climbing up the A-pillar, and the date since 1941 just above the infotainment system. So this is a company that clearly doesn't want you to forget its off-roading heritage, and why would they? With a roof that's as high up as many 4x4s, there's absolutely loads of headroom in the Renegade, and because you also sit up quite straight, knee room shouldn't be a problem. The boot measures 351 litres, which is quite a bit smaller than a Qashqai's with 430 litres. Judging by its looks, you'd probably guess that the Renegade places style over handling. And yes, it doesn't compete with the top of the class like the Skoda Yeti, but this Trailhawk version, which has slightly raised suspension and chunky all seasons tyres, does feel very planted. It also rides better than the Fiat 500X that we tested, and in this class comfort is a big plus. The steering has a bit of a gloopy feeling, but chuck this car into a corner and it actually has very little body roll and corners with the minimum of fuss. It can also come into its own off-road, and this Trailhawk version has Jeep's trail rated stamp of approval, which means this little scamp can actually tackle America's rugged Rubicon Trail. It's a wide range of petrol and diesel engines with manual and automatic gearboxes, and we're driving the top of the range 2-litre diesel with 168 bhp and a 9-speed automatic gearbox. Yes, we did say 9 speeds. In fact, that is one problem for this engine, because with so many gears it feels like it's constantly swapping between them, and that means it doesn't always feel as quick as its 0 to 62 time of under 10 seconds suggests. The top diesel is also expensive, so we'd go for the 138 horsepower version with a manual 6-speed gearbox, but keep 4-wheel drive as it does go with the Renegade's stout looks. Jeep wants to be classed as a premium player and has priced the Renegade accordingly. It starts from 17 grand, but this Trailhawk version costs as much as £28,000, and that places it amongst some very stiff competition. For that money you could have a well-spec'd Hyundai Tucson or a top-of-the-range Nissan Qashqai. So it looks like the crossover Hannibal from the A-Team would drive, but is it any good? Well, yes and no. The Jeep Renegade certainly looks refreshingly different, and it's a crossover that can go properly off-road and has some great features. But its final fit and finish can't quite live up to the best rivals, despite the Jeep having quite a steep asking price, so you'll have to dig deep into your pockets to buy this plucky Jeep. But does the Renegade hold your attention or make you want to go AWOL? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. To inquire about this car, click on the button or visit carkeys.co.uk. And to watch more reviews like this one, click on the links on screen now.